What's going on, everyone? It's Brandon with Koji Fine Jewelry, your personal jeweler. In this video, I want to talk and focus about the thin chains. Yes, thin chains, 1.5 millimeters max on these chains. It's important whether you have no plans to wear one. You might want to buy one as a gift, pair with a super small charm. So I think you need to know and hear my opinion about these chains based off my experience. With that being said, let's get started. Now let me paint you a picture like I got the buffalo pictures in the background. You have a heavy, solid log. That's going to be the 6 millimeter rope that you see in this B-roll, and then you have a small thin twig. That is the 1 millimeter rope. Both from the same tree, both wood, all that good stuff. Same thing with these chains, both solid 14 karat gold, both Jacoji qualities. The difference is one has a lot more mass to keep it intact. You can't easily break that log, can you? Maybe with the chainsaw. And the other one is very thin and delicate. That is the moral of the story when comparing these types of chains and what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, full disclaimer here, the rope chain is by far my top seller. It does really well, and I get it. It's a great chain to look at, especially at those smaller sizes. That rope really stands out, and that's what we're all going for. But just like that twig, it can easily break the design of the rope. Not comparing those thicker sizes, we're talking about the 1 millimeter, the 1.5 millimeter. They can get into trouble, and if you're super careful with it, that sometimes can't be enough. It could get stuck in a piece of garment. You're taking it off. Those little, it's because how the rope is made, not necessarily the manufacturer or anything, but because how the rings are made on a rope chain design, they could get stuck and pop, which leads to a break. So the alternative way, and why videos like this are very important, is to kind of do your research, because we have the almighty, the durable, reliable Franco chain. Now I'll put some side-by-sides. My most popular recommendation is that 1.2 millimeter. We also have the 1 millimeter. On this B-roll, you have a 1 millimeter rope in the middle, a 1.2 millimeter diamond cut Franco, and a 1.5 millimeter rope chain. I feel like this shot right here will help you guys out because you can see the difference kind of side by side with those popular sizes. And my most popular to recommend for a nice, durable, subtle chain, not doing too much, but it's not going to run into problems as far as breaking, is that 1.2 millimeter Franco. Now, when we're talking pairing with a small charm size, or in this case, a tiny lion, you really want to stick with that 1 millimeter. I have the 1 millimeter ropes, but the alternative, or what I really like to recommend and what I recommend to you guys, is that 1 millimeter Franco. I have both plain and diamond cut. You guys can see the side by side between the two. It's a really good option. My overall opinion with a 1 millimeter chain, I get you like the rope. Your wife might like the rope. Some might like the rope that you're recommending, but nobody likes a busted chain that can't be fixed. So the 1 millimeter Franco is a good option because when you're looking at it, because it's so small, you really don't see the design at all. So a plain 1 millimeter Franco is just going to look like a nice high quality gold chain, and you could bet that it's going to hold up and last a lot longer than, in my opinion, a 1 millimeter rope will. So I think that's the safe bet, and I like it because, again, from a distance, from afar, you're not really going to distinguish a 1 millimeter rope and a 1 millimeter Franco. So the safe bet and the best bet would be that 1 millimeter Franco. Now, when we bump it up to the 1.5 millimeter size, and I'll show a side by side of the 1 millimeter rope versus the 1.5 millimeter rope, and this is totally circumstantial what you're really using this chain to pair with. Again, those dainty charms in smaller size, tiny sizes, you got to go 1 millimeter. 1.5 you can get by, but it starts looking a little bit too big for the pendant or charm. It's worth it, and if you're going with more of a men's look or solitaire chain, starting out chain, yes, definitely look into that 1.5 millimeter plus. I'll show you the side-by-side of the 1.5 rope and 1.5 Franco. The Franco overall in the hand and seen in person is just more of a chain. It's heavier. It kind of looks bigger and feels bigger, so it's a different thing compared to the 1.5 millimeter rope, but it's also a really good thing when you're talking about durability again, and mainly this video is about the durability. The rope does look great, but when we're talking about durability and getting the job done, the comparable size of the Franco at the 1.2 in this case for the Franco, and the 1.5 millimeter is definitely a recommended size. As you get thicker, just like as that log gets bigger, it's harder. You can't just break it with your hands, can you? So then you could start going kind of with the rope as it gets thicker, because those Francos really get heavier, and the heavier the chain, the more durable the chain is. And of course, all these chains I'm showing and talking about are solid. If they're hollow, forget about it. That's a different video for another day. And if you're still confused and trying to decide at this point, here is a next shot with the 1mm Franco up top, the 1mm rope, and then I threw in a 1.5mm baby curve at the longer lengths because same principle in my opinion. If you have a small little pendant, you could get away with a smaller size link chain. Link chains, in my opinion, are the most durable. That could be, and it varies depending on how it's made. If it's hollow, if it's really spaced out, the links are really thin. But like the Miami Cuban links, the baby curves, flat curves, the ones I sell, Mariners, Figaros, all those chains are really durable because they can't get into that much trouble like snagging on your shirt or something like the rope chain will, or other style chains. Not necessarily chains I only sell. There's other variants of chains out there that will get in trouble like a rope chain will, or durable like a link chain is. So I put the 1.5 baby curve is because you could still pair a pendant and it won't look like really goofy with it. If you're concerned with it turning, it might turn a little bit because it's a lighter chain, but overall because it's so thin, it's just a nice option for a durable chain. All in all, guys, it's preference. There's probably a handful of people wearing a 1mm rope right now that's been wearing it for years and never had a problem. I'm kind of the same way. I've never had problems with my chains. I'm very careful, but there's fluke accidents, unfortunately, and that is just life. And it's really up to you what you want to do. This is just my experience and my expertise talking, and something you need to know going into a smaller chain, no matter if it's buying from me or somewhere else, or if it's a different link. It's things to look at because you really do have to look and think about that durability and those problems those thinner chains can get into. Again, the thicker, the heavier the chain is, the more durable it is. I've said durable a lot of times, but I just don't want people running into problems and feeling like they're stuck out of options, because that's never a good thing. So even watching a whatever, how many minutes this video is about thinner chains, yes, they're not that expensive, they're not that heavy, but it's worth it. You kind of want to get it right, and I think it's a no-brainer going with more of a, you know, Franco chain or something heavy like the link chains, just to kind of save you that headache and worry in the future. Nothing against rope. The thicker they are, they're really nice chains. Not every chain is perfect in my opinion. Just depends on what you throw at it, but as you get thicker, obviously they are more durable, heavy, and they're great chains to wear. Nonetheless, that's it for today's video. We'll see you on the next jewelry video.